Let's talk about mindset and motivation. Now, the biggest deciding factor when it comes to getting results and being successful, it's not about the exercise, it's not about the diet and the food we're eating, it's actually about your mindset and staying motivated. Now, so many of you know I really struggle in the winter. People say, how do you manage to stay so motivated and so positive? I really don't. Winter time, I really struggle to get out of bed. I hate the dark mornings, I hate the cold, and sometimes I just turn over, turn off the alarm and go back to sleep. You know, I am not this person that manages to stay motivated the whole time through. But one thing we need to start doing is having little steps we can put in place so where we can recognise the things that are going to help us get to where we want to be when we really are struggling to find that motivation to get up and do something. So I've got 7 steps for you to help work on your mindset and your motivation. And then once we start to implement these little changes, other things start to fall into place and things become a lot easier. Okay, let's go through them. Number 1, you've got to find your strong reason why. We've all got a reason why we want to get to somewhere. Do we want to feel better in our clothes? Do we want the clothes to feel looser so we feel better about ourselves? When we look in the mirror, we want to like what we see. That's on many of my clients' lists, and it may be on one of yours too. Do we want to get fitter so that we feel good again? We have lots of energy. Maybe we want to be able to play with our grandchildren when they come, because as I know, that is extremely tiring. When you've got your kids and you're running around after them and they expect you to play hide and seek and you are just, oh my goodness me. So getting fit for that, or just fit for you so you feel good about yourself and have more energy. Or it could be you're worried about getting older. Maybe you've got parents or something that have suffered from osteoporosis, brittle bone disease. Maybe you're just worried about getting older. You're starting to feel it now, worried about breaking bones. You know, we want to get old and we want to feel strong and fit as possible. So maybe that's your reason why. Whatever the reason is, it's got to be strong enough that you really want something. Then what we need to do is actually think about those reasons, and we need to write them down, and we need to put them somewhere we are going to see them pretty much every day. So that could be on a pad next to your bed in the evening, it could be in the kitchen by the kettle, but somewhere that you're going to see it every day, and it's going to remind you that no matter what happens, you really want to get to where you want to be, and that is your strong reason. Number 2, you've got to now start making yourself a priority. So many women going through midlife do not prioritise themselves at all, and they end up looking after everyone else. But you've got to start putting yourself first. Maybe you've got children who are still living at home and you're looking after them. Maybe you've got grandchildren and you're looking after them once or twice a week or whatever while their parents are at work. A lot of us have got aging parents, so we may be a carer for them, or we may be just having to do a lot more for them as they're getting older. Maybe they've got an illness and you're taking a lot more time out of your day to care for them. Maybe you've got a really demanding and stressful job and you're just not able to get yourself a priority because you seem to be just literally unable to say no, and you're doing later hours, you're working long over the weekend, you're checking in when you're at home, and everything else takes a back seat. But what we've got to realise, we can't give to everyone else and neglect ourselves, because something's going to happen and something's got to give if you're going to get to where you want to be. So putting ourselves first, it is not selfish. We are not self-centered. You know, we have put ourselves probably at the end of the path for so many years, but really right now, this is the time when we have to start putting ourselves first. When we do this, you're going to notice you start to prioritise yourself. You start to think about what you're doing exercise-wise. You start to maybe going out for some walks. You're thinking about the food you're eating. And then suddenly you start to feel better about yourself. When you feel better about yourself, you'll feel happier. And those people around you are going to notice a real change in you. And you're going to be in a much better place to then give to others once you start looking after yourself. Number 3, make good habits. Now, I can't recommend this book enough. It's a book I've read a few times now, and it's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And at the top it says, tiny changes, remarkable results. Now, one of the things that he says in this book is to look at building good daily habits and breaking those bad habits that you have got into. And we've all got bad habits. So we've now got to start being honest with ourselves about what habits we have got that we want to break and what new habits we want to make. Example, a bad habit could be, you know your cupboards have got food in that you really struggle to resist. You go to the supermarket, you grab some biscuits, you grab the crisps or the cake or whatever it is, telling yourself, oh well, I'll just keep that just in case someone comes round, or I'll just keep that as a little treat. But deep down, you know these foods are far too tempting and you're struggling to resist them. So the fact that you want to have the biscuits if someone comes round for a cup of tea and you're just going to have the odd biscuit, you end up opening the packet, having a couple, then having a couple of more. Before you know it, you've probably got through the whole packet of biscuits. I can relate to that, and I know lots of my clients can too. So instead, we want to make a good habit. The good habit is, I'm going to build a better habit of filling my cupboards with nutritious, healthy foods, and I'm going to cut right back on the amount of unhealthy snacks I am eating. That doesn't mean to say we can't ever have the foods we love, but let's just make it a priority that we fill the cupboards with 80% of the time all the foods we know are healthy, going to make us feel good, more energy, and cut right back on the unhealthy stuff. And I know full well anyone watching this pretty much will go, yeah, that's me. I'm a bit guilty doing that. Another good habit could be, bad habit could be telling yourself you do not have enough time to fit in any exercise or a daily walk. You're just too busy. The good habit, buy some weights, light weights, and have them somewhere in your house you're going to see them. So whether that's in your kitchen, in your living room, in your bedroom, wherever it's going to be. Now, set a goal of completing a very short 10-15 minute home workout. Obviously look in the app, there's lots and lots of them to choose from. Or set aside time in your diary that you're going to get out for that walk that you keep saying you're going to do and you haven't got time. You've got to make these good habits because that is the only time change is going to happen. We fall into our bad habits so easily because we've been doing them for so many years. So moving into a good habit is quite difficult at first. Definitely, if you can, I'll put a link. Have a look at this book because it tells you step by step little things you can do. And again, tiny changes, remarkable results. Tip number 4, start taking responsibility for the actions you are taking. So how many of you are blaming other things for where you are in your life right now? I can put my hand up. I'm sure we can all put our hand up. So many women blame the people around them for where they are right now. We end up getting a takeaway on a Friday night because my husband was tired and didn't want us to cook tonight. Or getting a takeaway because you're tired and you don't want to cook tonight. Maybe you tell yourself your job's too demanding and I'm too tired to fit in a workout because I have no time once I've been at work. I'm too tired to do anything else. Maybe you're blaming the menopause. The menopause is the reason I'm putting on weight. I promise you, it is not the only reason you are putting on weight. If you really want change to happen, you have to start taking responsibility and not blaming everyone else and everything for where you are right now. Tip number 5, start working on your own self-belief. So many women don't actually believe they can make a change, but they actually can. It's really time to start telling yourself that you can achieve what you really, really want. You need to believe this, and the more you do it, things start to happen. Now, it's really difficult sometimes because it's so easy for our mind to tell us we can't do something. It's so easy for us to start believing that we're never going to get to where we want to be. But that's not doing us any good at all. We need to switch that round, focus on a much more positive self-belief attitude. So take time today, think about what you want to achieve and actually believe it's going to happen. Again, writing it down makes such a difference to your mindset. If you keep repeating it in your mind, I can get to where I want to be, I can do a workout each week, I can go for a walk, I can make healthier food choices and put plans in place, you can achieve it. So let's start believing in ourselves a lot more. Okay, tip number 6, and it relates back to really tip number 5. Make a commitment to yourself. Tell yourself you can do it. Keep a journal. Write things down, how you're going to achieve something. As I said, going out for a daily walk. I am going to get out for a daily walk every day this week, even if it takes me just 5 minutes round the block. I'm going to fit in a short home workout. I'm going to get my gym kit ready the night before, do it in your pyjamas, no one cares. Have your weights ready. In the morning when you wake up, half an hour earlier, just follow a very short home workout. I'm going to focus on my nutrition. So make sure you're buying the foods you need in those cupboards to make sure you are having a healthier food choices. Prepare some meals, plan some meals. But this is all making a commitment to yourself to be successful. The more you do these things, the more likely you are to succeed. And tip number 7, think positively. Start to think more positively and believe that things are going to happen that you really want. Think about what you can do and remind yourself of what you have already achieved and what you want to achieve as well. So really start to visualize it. What do you want to look like? What are you going to be wearing? How do you feel? Where are you going to be? Maybe you imagine yourselves on holiday somewhere, you want to be in this certain dress size, you want to look a certain way. Imagine walking up the steps on the plane, sitting on the plane, walking down to the beach. What are you going to be wearing? How are you going to be feeling when you get to where you really want to be? Imagine how proud you're going to feel when you've put in all that work and finally you're feeling the results. The more you start to think and implement these 7 steps, the closer you're going to be to getting to where you really, really want. So go back, replay this video, make a note of all these steps, have a journal ready, and let's start putting these steps into place and getting you to where you want to be.